in one of the most visited museums on Earth. Under the gilded ceilings and glittering masterpieces, history wasn't meant to be stolen. It was Sunday, October 19th, 2025, a day like any other for the Louvre Museum in Paris. Visitors queued, cameras clicked, the world moved slowly through the corridors of art and civilization. But behind the scenes, something had already shifted. A truck parked, a lift extended. Masked figures in high-vis vests moved quietly in broad daylight, and within minutes, an act would take place that would shock a nation. At 9:30 a.m., the thieves struck. They entered the Galerie d'Apollon, home to the French crown jewels. In under 7 minutes, 8 of the country's most priceless treasures vanished. Necklaces, tiaras, brooches, once worn by queens and empresses, gone. The value, 88 million euros, maybe more. But the real cost, something deeper: identity, heritage, the question of what a nation treasures, and what we all lose when the guardians fail. They escaped on motorcycles, tools abandoned, cases shattered. One crown dropped in the street. No gunfire, no panic, only shocking precision. The heists executed like cinema, yet terrifyingly real. Now the Louvre is silent. The world watches. Questions multiply. How? Why? Who? And perhaps most haunting, what happens to treasures once they leave their home? This is not just a robbery. It is a breach of history, of trust, of the very idea that some things are safe. Tonight, we follow the trail. From the glass halls of the Louvre, to the shadows where the priceless disappear. The Louvre heist. The day history was stolen. Chapter 1. The Gallery of Apollo on Sunday, October 19th, 2025. At approximately 9:30 a.m., a significant security breach occurred at the Louvre Museum in Paris. Thieves, disguised as construction workers, executed a daylight robbery in the Galerie d'Apollon, a gallery renowned for housing the French crown jewels. Utilizing a mechanized lift, the perpetrators accessed a second-floor window, gaining entry to the museum. Once inside, they employed angle grinders to breach high-security display cases, swiftly removing 8 pieces of invaluable jewelry. The stolen items included a tiara, necklace, and earrings from the sapphire set of Queen Marie, Amélie, and Queen Hortense, an emerald necklace and a pair of emerald earrings from the Empress Marie-Louise set, a tiara, and a large bodice bow brooch belonging to Empress Eugénie de Montier. The heist, executed with precision, lasted approximately 7 minutes, despite alarms being triggered and security personnel responding promptly. The thieves managed to escape. In the aftermath, the Louvre Museum was closed for the remainder of the day to facilitate an investigation. The French government confirmed that the stolen artifacts were not insured, as national museums typically self-insured due to high premiums and low claims history. The cultural and historical significance of the stolen jewels is immeasurable. Their loss represents not only a financial setback, but also a profound impact on France's national heritage. As authorities continue their investigation, questions remain. How did the perpetrators gain such intimate knowledge of the museum's security systems? What methods did they employ to circumvent the advanced surveillance in place? And perhaps most pressing, where are the stolen jewels now? In the following chapters, we will delve deeper into the investigation, examining the methods used by the thieves, the response of law enforcement, and the ongoing efforts to recover these priceless artifacts. Chapter 2. The Manhunt. The morning of October 19th, 2025, began like any other at the Louvre Museum in Paris. But by 9:30 a.m., the world-renowned institution was at the center of a daring daylight heist. 9 priceless pieces of French crown jewels were stolen from the Galerie. The thieves, disguised as construction workers, executed their plan with precision. using a crane to access a second-floor window and power tools to breach high-security display cases. The entire operation lasted less than 10 minutes. As the thieves made their escape, dropping one of the stolen crowns near the scene, the Louvre was immediately closed to preserve the crime scene. Tourists were evacuated, and forensic teams began their investigation. The French prosecutor's office assigned over 100 investigators to the case, marking it as one of the most significant art thefts in recent history. The investigation revealed that the thieves had meticulously planned the heist. Surveillance footage showed a small truck parked outside the museum, with its lift extended to a second-floor balcony. The thieves used this lift to access the window, cut through the glass, and enter the gallery. Inside, they used angle grinders and a blowtorch to breach the display cases and remove the jewels. Despite the sophistication of the operation, the thieves left behind crucial evidence. Among the items recovered at the scene were 2 angle grinders, a blowtorch, gasoline, gloves, a walkie-talkie, a blanket, and a crown. This evidence provided investigators with valuable leads. The thieves' getaway was swift and calculated. After descending from the balcony, they fled the scene on motorcycles, heading towards the boulevard Peripherique and then south on the A6 autoroute. The use of motorcycles allowed them to navigate through traffic quickly and evade capture. In the days following the heist, French authorities intensified their efforts to locate the stolen jewels and apprehend the perpetrators. The jewels were added to Interpol's Stolen Works of Art database, and a special edition poster was published to alert international law enforcement agencies. The investigation faced numerous challenges. The thieves had expertly planned their escape route, leaving little trace behind. Surveillance footage from the museum was reviewed, but it provided limited information. The stolen jewels, valued at an estimated 88 million euros, were of such significant historical and cultural value that their recovery became a priority for law enforcement agencies worldwide. As the investigation continued, questions arose about the security measures in place at the Louvre. Despite recent upgrades, the museum's security systems had been insufficient to prevent the heist. The French government faced criticism for the lapses, and discussions about enhancing security protocols at cultural institutions gained momentum. The case remains open, with authorities continuing their efforts to locate the stolen jewels and bring the perpetrators to justice. The heist has not only shaken the art world, but has also sparked a broader conversation about the protection of cultural heritage and the measures needed to safeguard invaluable artifacts. Chapter 3: The Final Exhibition and the Global Fallout. By the time the museum's glass cases were shattered, the world had already begun to watch. Within hours of the heist, the Louvre had shut its doors. Forensics teams moved through the Galerie d'Apollon. Visitors evacuated, alarms truncated. But while the scene was secured, the jewels were gone. Investigators were mobilized immediately. Around 100 specialists were deployed by the Paris prosecutor's office to track down the suspects and the loot. They reviewed CCTV footage, traced vehicle and lift access, and scanned tool marks, angle grinders, blowtorches, a furniture hoist used by the thieves. The escape plan had been executed with chilling precision. To get away, to motorbikes exiting the Louvre's vicinity, speeding southwards via Boulevard Peripherique and the A6 autoroute. The thieves left behind only a damaged crown, part of the stolen haul, dropped in their flight. As the country watched, France's leadership responded. President Emmanuel Macron called the theft an attack on a heritage that we cherish because it is our history. Interior Minister Laurent Nunez admitted, "What is certain is that we have failed. The jewels. Estimated monetary loss, 88 million euros, $102 million, according to the prosecutor's office. But the cultural loss, that was far greater. A nation's history vanished in less time than it takes to drink coffee." The investigation broadened quickly. The stolen items were entered into the Interpol Stolen Works of Art database. Governments and intelligence agencies issued alerts. International borders became potential shelters. Art smuggling networks began shifting. Meanwhile, the heist exposed gaping vulnerabilities. Reports revealed that the thieves used a furniture lift crane truck parked openly on the Seine-facing facade of the Louvre, accessed the balcony, and entered through a window while within public hours. Security systems may have triggered alarms, but the response had failed to stop the robbery. Questions about staffing cuts and delayed modernization swirled. This heist arrived at a critical moment. The Louvre reported 8.7 million visitors in 2024. Staff insist that security has been stretched thin in recent years. As the world's most visited museum, the attack didn't just target artifacts, targeted a symbol. Still, one question looms. Where are the jewels now? Experts warn that once jewels like these enter the black market, they can be recut, melted, dispersed. The window for recovery is narrow. Every minute that passes increases the odds that these national treasures will never return. And yet, hope remains. Museum curators, investigators, international task forces rallying. The pursuit is on. Because these jewels are not just expensive, they are irreplaceable. In the silent halls of the Louvre, the display cases now stand empty. But they are not broken. They are waiting for answers, waiting for justice, waiting for the day these treasures will walk home. Because one thing is certain, a museum may be robbed, but the true theft is of memory, identity, and time.